Hello there, Jeff with the Bigshooterist channel. Thanks for tuning in. Lately we've been testing an awful lot of self-defense rounds, and we recently had a new one brought to our attention. It's made by Liberty Ammunition, and depending on the packaging of the time that you purchased it, it's either called HaloPoint or the newer Civil Defense. It's a 50 grain 9mm projectile, leaving your standard handgun at over 2,000 feet per second. Check this out. Now this ammo is a very, very, very deep hollow point, and we'll give you a good close-up photo of it so you can see. And before we get into the terminal ballistics, let's make sure that we can hit something with it. Today we're using our Glock 17. Let's see how we do on the range. We're going to be testing the accuracy at approximately 30 feet. And I want to show you this angle because one question that I'm asked a lot is, at 2,000 plus feet per second, is the recoil excessive, or is it excessive on the action of the firearm? And we'll set another camera up downrange to show the target, and we'll look through this one so you and I can analyze together whether the muzzle rise is excessive or whether anything awkward is happening with such a fast load. Let's take a peek at the target. With the point of aim right in the center of the forehead, that's where almost all the rounds are. I had one, I hit a couple inches over here. I'll take the rap for that. Been an awful long winter. So now that we see that the stuff has the ability to hit, and the recoil is absolutely not excessive. If anything, it's quite light. I'm anxious to see the video in slow motion. We'll be watching it together actually, and see what it does for the muzzle rise. But it's absolutely a kitten compared to what some people have led me to believe it may be. Let's take a ride to the lab, try it in some ballistic gel, and see how it performs there. The first test that we'll do will be on straight ballistic gelatin, and we'll be shooting from about 15 feet away. And the second test, we'll lay a piece of naugahyde over it, actually to simulate either a thick skin or a light coat or something like that, and then we'll compare the two and see how it performs. Let's cut it right open down the middle and get a look at both channels. This really gives us a fantastic view of what that ammunition's capable of. As you can see, the round that came in from this side was all done with the permanent channel inside of 4 inches. and the small heavy piece traveled through to just over 10, and it's visible right here. On the piece we ran through the naugahyde, you can see as well, it came through, permanent cavity was done. The permanent cavity was done in the same amount of space, and the larger portion of the projectile that traveled right through ended up approximately 10.5 inches on this one. Let's cut them open and see how much the larger piece weighs, the piece that actually traveled. We've got 24 grains on the piece that traveled through the naugahyde. We've got 25 grains on the piece that traveled directly through with no resistance. So it seems about half of its weight is being retained to travel approximately 10 inches, even with this massive permanent cavity.
Now here's a still shot, and this shows the permanent channel, the fragmentation field, and the furthest distance that the heaviest piece of fragmentation traveled.
Now we fired 5 rounds through the chronograph, and they were all very, very close. They were traveling at just over 2,400 feet per second, 2,403, 2,407, and then we had one round that left the pipe at 2,700 feet per second. That was the only one. I don't know if it was an anomaly or not. The ammo shoots well. The performance in the gel is almost identical. So I would assume that they're all within that nice tight group, at least as far as muzzle velocity goes. So it's real interesting stuff. It does exactly what they say it will do. It makes a shallow but very massive permanent channel with only this little 25 grain piece that extends about 10 inches, and of course that's hitting nothing because we're using gel. And it seems to be really, really decent ammo. The recoil is very, very light. The muzzle rise is minimal, so you can get on really quick for a second shot, and I like it. I've got to do, I want to do some more research on this stuff. It's interesting ammo, and I think it has an awful lot of potential. Sometime in the future we'll try it using different layers of resistance, like thick leather jackets and things along those lines. But today the sun's finally coming out. It's been a long winter, and I'm going to do a little bit of shooting to get rid of the rust. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it and subscribe and share us with your friends in your vast social network. If you want some of our cool Bigshooterist gear, you can join in on the conversation over at Facebook at facebook.com/guntestvids. And until next time, have fun and be safe. Here's a pro tip for you. When you shoot ballistic gelatin and you store it in a refrigerator that you seldom use, make sure that refrigerator is actually plugged in, and then it will keep the gelatin in much better condition than this gelatin looks like today.